Edward Tracy Turnerelli was a British writer, artist and traveller, born in London in 1813, the son of Irish-born sculptor Peter Turnerelli. He initially studied art at the Royal Academy before enrolling at Carlow College to become a priest. He then travelled to Russia with family friend Lord Durham, British ambassador in St. Petersburg. He frequently met Tzar Nicholas I, whose favour he won with his illustrated non-fiction work Kazan, the ancient capital of the Tartar Khans. He returned to Britain in 1854 and married Martha Hankey, sister of the Governor of the Bank of England. The couple moved to a large house at Leamington Spa. There, Turnerelli became a staunch conservative and pamphleteer, writing to most if not all the newspaper editors in the country and taking on the role of a moral compass for the public. His correspondence was so voluminous, postmen were said to groan beneath the weight of his conversation. One of his big eccentricities was to have a 6-ton rock placed over his grave plot, inscribed with lengthy descriptions of all the good deeds done by Turnerelli and his wife, who were both still alive when the stone was raised. He was known to visit the gravesite and read these at length. In 1878, he championed the cause of awarding a Golden Reef to Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli, accepting donations of a penny from 52,000 people. However, the Prime Minister refused to accept the ornament. He died at Leamington in 1896, the wreath ending up at Madame Tussauds before becoming lost. He wrote almost no fiction at all, but in 1888 he collected 2 of his fictional Russian works under the title A Russian Princess and a Russian Ghost Story, which we will cover today. Turnerelli says the stories came from his journeys through Russia between 1837 and 1853. Each story is prefaced by a list of dozens of celebrities whom Turnerelli knew and who expressed thanks for his books, which seem to hint at a not-so-hidden streak of vanity in his character. The first of the 2 is The Russian Princess. While going through the Imperial Library, Turnerelli said he found an old manuscript marked to be kept secret by the emperors Paul, Alexander and Nicholas respectively, this being the confession of the crimes committed by Princess Alexandrina Dmitrievna. Her story begins in 1796, when she debuts at a court ball held by Emperor Paul at the Hermitage, being so charming that her entree is remembered still 40 years later. However, she rejects all proposals of marriage due to her love to her father's aide-de-camp, Vasily. Her father suspects nothing, as, if he did, he would have him shipped off to Siberia. However, Ivan, a scoundrel in the service of the family, has a grudge against the aide-de-camp because he had him whipped, and he tells the prince what his daughter is doing, and he is given 3 days to prove his assertions, or woe be with him. As he takes the prince to Alexandrina's room, she hides the aide-de-camp in a chest and avoids discovery, but the young man dies of suffocation before her father is satisfied and leaves the room. Alexandrina removes the body with the help of her maid and her coachman and dumps it in the Volga. The coachman is given a lot of money for his part, but he starts bragging to his drunkard friends, and then bets Alexandrina will come to the filthy tavern if he asks her to, and she agrees, before she proceeds to burn him and 6 other people to death by barricading the tavern and putting it on fire. She is sent to a convent, but only a few weeks later is recalled by Emperor Paul. She becomes his lover, but in the end, she becomes entangled with Paul's assassin before being brutally murdered by the secret police. The story's main fault is that, though it begins to be narrated as a novel, Turnerelli seems to grow bored of it very fast, and soon the narrative is restricted and whittled down to merely going over the facts in a very brisk tone, more as a historical anecdote than a piece of fiction. A Russian Ghost Story concerns one so-called Belle Diablesse, or Madame Chortov, a noble lady whose aunt wished to deprive her of her inheritance by giving freedom to all 40,000 families in her domain, out of sheer spite. However, soon a terrible famine swept the countryside, and the once rich aunt died of starvation, making the madame the new owner. But the estate is in a terrible condition, and seems genuinely haunted by the spirit of the old lady, who, however, does nothing much except lie around in a bed. The young madame wishes to spend the night in the haunted room anyway, which proves to be her undoing, Turnerelli supposedly taking the 2 young children from the household with him to Britain. The story has some effective touches, but as a ghost story, it is exceedingly tame, and though there are a few good moments, at times it seems reminiscent of the most stock Edwardian fare. The stories overall have some good local colour, but not much fantastic is going on.